Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Welcome back. I'm happy you're here, and I'm sure you see there is a big surprise, big elephant in the room, and that's why I'm here. So this is a life update slash pregnancy update to tell you what's been going on, why I disappeared the way I did, and what's pretty much what's been happening in my life. So so this is a life update, and it is also a pregnancy update. It is a story time because it's crazy. So the reason why I've been away and I've been very low key is it's right here, but I will tell you all about it. So last time you saw me, I was I did put out a video of what 10 things to do after finding out you're pregnant. And ironically, while filming that video, I was already pregnant, but I did not know it. How crazy is that? So I think the week after that, I found out I was pregnant. And I'm sorry if I'm out of breath. I am heavily pregnant. As you can see, I am 9 months pregnant officially. So in a couple of days, I will be 37 weeks pregnant. So excuse me, I'm very out of breath. I'm tired. Everything hurts. So bear with me, please. So so literally a week after putting that video out, or some days after putting the video out, I literally randomly went to the store. That day I was going into the office a little bit late, so I had to drop my daughter off to school. So I dropped her, then I decided to go to Walmart for some odd reason. But I do always keep a pregnancy test here, while and we have been trying to conceive. That's the real truth behind it. So for like maybe 6 months we were trying to conceive, and it wasn't happening, and I was getting frustrated and I was getting sad. And when I decided to just let go and just take it day by day, finally I found out I was pregnant. So the story behind it is, after dropping my daughter, I went to Walmart and I got like a box of 5 pregnancy tests or something. And then I took it and I went to work. And when I got to work, I took one out of it. And then when I put my stuff on my desk, I went to the bathroom and I tested. And so I was so shocked. Like, I was literally shocked, because we were trying to conceive, but like I said, it was not happening. So I wasn't expecting it, and my period wasn't late. There was nothing going on, but that's just me. I'm just crazy like that. I buy pregnancy tests and I take them for no reason, for no reason at all. So I was expecting my period in a few days, but I decided to take it anyway. So I took it, and there was a big surprise. I was pregnant. So obviously I was excited. I wish I had recorded my first reaction, but to me, like, those things don't come naturally. It's not something I thought about in a moment. I was very shocked. I was very anxious. I was extremely excited and happy. I just had like a lot of feelings going through my body during that time. Like, it was just a lot. I have a picture. I snapped a picture right after finding out. And then after work, when I came home, I announced it to my husband, and he was happy. He obviously was very happy. I have a little reaction of his, but it's weird, but he kind of always knows when I'm pregnant. Like, I don't know, it's weird, the weirdest thing. He'll always tell me, like, some days before or whatever. So he had told me that. And when I tried to tell him, he guessed it, but he was very happy and surprised as well. But another crazy thing, but very funny, 2 weeks before finding out I was pregnant, my 6-year-old Anissa, she went to school. At school they draw and stuff like that. So she drew a picture. So she drew a picture of a family member. So she drew me, she drew her dad, she drew her sister, she drew her brother, and then she drew a baby. And I was like, what is, and then when her dad went and picked her up, she gave the picture to her dad. And when he came back, he said, look what your daughter drew. And then he gave it to me, and there was a baby there. I was like, why would you draw a baby? And she was like, because you're gonna have a baby. And I was like, yeah, right. And crazy enough, 2 weeks after that, I found out I was pregnant. We kept the picture and put it on the fridge because that's how shocking it is. Because there is a sweet story behind it. So yeah, so that happened, and so that was the beginning of everything for me. So I mentioned it on this channel before that my pregnancies are very, very difficult. They are very challenging. It's a whole lifestyle change for me when I'm pregnant. Like everything, every single thing just changes. And I had my first, which is my 6-year old now. I had her when she was only 24 weeks. I was 24 weeks pregnant, so she was 6 months early, which is crazy. Alhamdulillah, she's here with us. She's well. We praise God for that. But it was very traumatic. So when at that time when we was found, I was 3 centimeter dilated. I was only 23 weeks, so I had to be rushed to the hospital. I had to be on bed rest and then wait for labor. And literally at 24 weeks and a day, back then in 2016, she showed up after 22 hours of labor. Very, very painful 22 hours of my life. She showed up, and she was not healthy. She had to be resuscitated, and she was taken to NICU. NICU is like a place where they take sick babies. So she was there for like a long time, like almost 5 months we were in the hospital. It was very, very tough. It was, those that I know, my very, very close friends, and family, they know how difficult that time was for me, as I was very young. I think I was only 22. I was very young, and we were a young married couple. It was very tough on us, tough on our marriage, tough on everything. It was just the hardest thing I felt I've had to do in my entire life, honestly. So that happened. So after that happened, and we went past it, my doctor told me that for my next pregnancies I would need a surgery while pregnant. So the surgery would serve to close my cervix, so I don't start dilating too early and the baby doesn't come out. So the condition is called incompetent cervix. So it means that your cervix isn't capable of holding a baby in your belly for a whole 9 months without help. Unfortunately, that's what I have to deal with every single time I'm pregnant. So I made my appointment after finding out I was pregnant. So I went and I saw my doctor. He told me about the plan, and I had already booked my flight to go to Ivory Coast, to go to my country with the kids. And I was pregnant. I was very anxious. I was worried because with this condition you can't be on your feet too much, and that's literally what I did. I was on my feet a lot. I traveled. It was a super long flight. It was just very, very taxing on my body. When I came back, I was there for a month. When I came back, immediately after I came back, I went to the hospital the next day. So when I went to the hospital the next day, they told me, hey, your cervix has started shortening. So a normal cervix, so don't quote me on this. I'm just speaking off of what I've read, so I don't have all the facts. But if, I can do some research and then add it next to the screen or something. So a normal cervix, I believe, is like 5 centimeters. So it's very long, it's strong, it can hold a baby. My cervix isn't long and it's not strong. So I started off the pregnancy, my cervix was 4 centimeters long. So the length of it was pretty long. By the time I left my country and came back, it had shrinked to 2.5 centimeters. Well, thank God at that time my surgery was scheduled for the following Monday. So I got back on a Thursday. I went to the hospital on a Friday. I went to see my doctor on a Friday, and then my surgery was scheduled for Monday. So on Monday, when I went on Friday, they checked me and they were like, "Oh, well, your cervix has started shortening. So a good thing we're doing the surgery when we're doing it." So everything was in motion. I found out the gender that day, and we have a very sweet gender reveal video that we will be uploading, so you guys know what we're having. I won't be telling it. Hopefully, I won't be telling it here in this video, but we will be uploading that video after this one, because this is my official announcement. So on Monday we went in, we did the surgery. Apparently everything went well. I was excited, and my doctor, I think there was before the treatment, when I was pregnant with Z, the treatment was they do the surgery and then they put you on bed rest. So bed rest means you stop working, you stay home, you stay in bed as much as possible, you stay off your feet. But I guess between 3 years ago and now, they found out that bed rest doesn't help. Well, I don't believe that, because I feel like bed rest has saved my babies more than I can count, right? So after the surgery, me and my husband decided we're gonna put me on bed rest anyway. Since I work from home, I arranged some things to get some accommodation from work where I could sleep when I needed to, where I didn't have to go in the office. I could stay here. So I was gonna work from home and be in the bed. That was our decision that we made mutually. And my husband has been doing everything. He's been holding the ship down, taking care of the kids, taking care of me, like literally doing everything, and I cannot thank him enough. Like, there's no words, for me to express my gratitude to him, because he did so much. And I know that's what a husband is for better or for worse, right? And we made the baby together. That's what most people would tell me. But I do believe that not every man will be as patient as he is, and as understanding and as supportive as he's been throughout this whole journey. Because God knows I'm not easy to deal with, but he does it graciously, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So yeah, so the surgery happened. So after the surgery, since it was already planned and my cervix had a good size and everything, it wasn't painful. The same day after the surgery, I was on my feet. I could walk, I could do things, and to me everything was fine. Well, a few days later, my doctor's office called me saying that they need a second opinion. And I was like, second opinion? But for what? So they say, we need a second opinion. We're sending you to one of the best maternal fetal medicine doctors here in Dallas. So he's a specialist in the condition that I have. Like, he knows everything about it. He knows what to do about it and stuff like that. So I was like, I started being worried. I was like, well, I thought the pregnancy was a success. I thought everything went well. I don't understand why I need to go back to see another doctor. But okay, I'll go. Anything for the baby, right? So I have some footages that I would include of when I was going for the first surgery, so that you can kind of like have an idea of what happened there. So they scheduled me for a few days after that. So I went in. I went in to see the doctor, and we talked. He examined me and everything, and he told me, well, the cerclage that your OB put, so my OBGYN put last week, is failing, which means even though the cerclage is there, which is what they put to close your cervix is still started to dilate. I was like, oh my God. He said, yeah, it started to dilate, and you're 1 centimeter dilated, and your amniotic sac, which is the bag like that bursts when the baby is ready to come, it's right there. They can see it's bulging. And I was like, oh my God. I was very worried. I was frightened. But then I had, this whole pregnancy, alhamdulillah, I had a sense of calm. Like, I had a sense of peace, right? Because I felt like, in my mind, I'm like, whatever is meant to happen will happen. There's nothing I can do about it. I am not in charge. I can only do what I can do, and everything else is in the hand of the Most High, like of my Lord. So I'm just gonna surrender to Him, and whatever He wants to happen, that's what's gonna happen. So when they told me that, of course I was sad. You can be a believer, you can be, you can firmly believe in everything, but being sad is part of being human, right? So I was sad. I was I was a little bit disappointed, but I was like, you know what? I'll let God do what He does, and that's just how I was, right? I didn't cry or nothing. I was hurt, but I was okay. I was like, whatever happens, I'm gonna be okay with it. Whatever happens, I'm still gonna praise God, and I'm still going to be thankful. Because in my mind, I was telling myself, He gave me this baby for a reason. There is a reason behind this. There has to be a reason, because a lot could have happened before I reached that point, right? I could have miscarried. I could there's so many different things that could have happened, but none of those happened. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm just gonna embrace the trial. To me, this was like the beginning of like hardship, and I was embracing it. I was accepting it. All right. So after the doctor told me that, and he said, we need to get you in for surgery immediately. So, like today or tomorrow at the latest. Because if not, your water can break anytime and the baby can come. And if the baby comes, I was only what, 16 weeks pregnant. He said, if the baby comes now, unfortunately, that baby won't be viable. So, there's nothing we can do. So, viability means that the baby is like pretty much not really, there really isn't much the baby can do because it's way too early. So I told him, I said, yeah, let's do the surgery and everything. So I went to like a different hospital. That was in a different hospital. I was like, yeah, let's do the surgery. I'm ready and everything. So I went to the financial department and they told me, well, the doctor can do the surgery, but we can only, your insurance, there was an issue with my insurance because I'm doubled insured. I have two insurances. So they said that my primary insurance, the hospital is out of network with my primary insurance, and this doctor only operates in this specific hospital. I was like, God. I was just, I was just looking at God and I was like, I I see what's happening here. This is like this is it. This is what I was thinking. This is a test. You're just testing me right now. This is the beginning of a trial. I was just, I was like, okay. So they told me, yeah, if you want to have the surgery here and this doctor to do it, it's going to be $12,000 or $14,000 that you have to pay right now. And to me, that was ridiculous. And I was like, why would I pay 14,000 or 12,000 when I have insurance? And I have two insurances for that matter. Why would I do that? Right? And I told him, I said, I don't have that money. Like I don't have it. And I had not eaten that day because they told me I was supposed to stop eating at midnight, and it had been 8 hours or something that I had not eaten. I was tired. I was starving. It was just terrible. So I told them I don't have that money and I'm not gonna pay that because I have insurance for a reason. So they said, okay, but unfortunately, without that, there's nothing we can do. You can't have the surgery because this specialist doctor that's been in a career, has been working for 40 plus years before I was even born. He only operates in that hospital. I was like, wow. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna go home and go rest and just let God do what he does. So I called my OB's office and I told them about the situation, and my nurse at my OB's office, she's fantastic and I'm so thankful for her because she really showed up for me. She really did. When I called her, she reassured me. She was like, it's okay. Don't worry. We'll find a way. I'm not going to let you down. Like, seriously, some healthcare workers, they're a gem. Some of them are, I can't recall, dealing with a healthcare worker that was too harsh or rude. I can't, well, I had some experiences, but she was amazing. She was amazing. Alhamdulillah. She was great. She was like, don't worry, don't cry, it's going to be okay. At that point, I was just like hormonal. I was like crying a little bit. I didn't know what to do. I felt defeated. And she was like, yeah, don't worry, we'll find a way. Let me call around, see what we can do. She said, in the meantime, you call your insurance and see what can be done and this and this and that. I was like, okay. So when I got home, at that time, my friend actually took me to the hospital and she dropped me off. And when I came back, my husband already had food ready for me. So I decided to call the insurance first. Which I did, and I spoke to the loveliest lady, like the representative. She was so lovely. I explained the situation to her, and I was crying, and she was very, very sweet. And she was telling me, she said, God got you. There's a reason why you called. We're gonna find a way. She was very reassuring. And like, yeah, I don't know about you, but to me, the more like people are kind to me when I'm going through something, the more emotional it makes me. Like, it makes me want to cry even more, right? So So she was telling me that, she was like, it's gonna be okay, don't worry, let me call around and I'll call you back. We're gonna try to get a pre-authorization, so at least the doctor is covered, right? So the insurance can cover the doctor. So whatever my primary wouldn't cover, my secondary insurance will kick in and cover that portion. So I was like, okay. So she said she'll call me back and everything. And I hung up with her, and she did. And she said that they'll contact me, that the doctor's office will contact me. I was like, fine. At that point, I had done everything that was in my power. Like, I did my part, and I was just letting everything up to God. So I ate and I prayed. And when I was praying, I cried. I cried, and I said to God, I said, there's a reason why you gave me this baby. There's a reason why you're putting me through this. And I surrender to you. I surrender to whatever it is you are deciding, whatever it is you want to happen. I'm gonna let that happen, because there is nothing I can do. I'm powerless and you are powerful. So you do what you do. And I just surrender. There's nothing left for me to do at this point. So after I prayed, I think after I prayed, that's when I ate. I ate, and I decided to go take a nap because I was tired. I was hungry. Before I took a nap, the nurse from my OB's office called me, and she was like, hey, I'm still working on everything. Don't think I forgot about you. I'm so actively working. So she told me that finally they got the pre-authorization from my insurance for the doctor to operate. But because he only operates in one hospital, they're still trying to find a way. So she said that they're trying to get him to be authorized to operate at a different hospital that my insurance will cover. And she was like, we're trying to do that, but keep in mind that can take up to a couple of weeks. Like, it doesn't, I've never seen it happen. So but we're still trying. She said, we're trying, and I'll call you back. So after she told me that again, I told God, I said, God, I surrender to you. Here's what they're telling me. I'm supposed to have this surgery in a day or two so my baby can be saved. But they're telling me that this doctor, that's literally the only person that can successfully do this surgery and get me to term, to 9 months of pregnancy, is not gonna get authorized to operate in another hospital in the next couple of weeks, which is a long time. In 2 weeks, so much can happen. And I was like, you know what? I surrender to you, God. You do what you do. I'm done. There's nothing left for me to do. And I went to sleep. And maybe 30 or 45 minutes later, my phone started ringing again. And I answered, and it was my nurse again from my OB's office. And she was like, oh my God, Miss Turner, like, I've never seen this happen before. She said, we got the doctor authorized to operate at another hospital, one of the hospitals where, the hospital that your insurance cover. We were able to get the doctor authorized to operate there. She was like, wow. She said, I'm shocked myself, because this never happened. Like, it takes about 2 weeks or even more to get that done. But here we are. We got it done. Like, you should really praise God. Like, this is like, this is amazing. And I was like, I smiled. And at that moment, so before, I was scared. I wasn't confused, because, I wasn't confused. I knew what was going on, but I was scared. I was scared for my baby. I was scared for what was going to happen. But at that moment, I just had like a rush of gratefulness, right? I had like it's like at that moment, it's like God patting me on the back and being like, I got you. This is a trial. It's a test that I'm submitting to you, but I got you. Like, I'll pull you through this. This was very reassuring for me. It was like he was reassuring me. He was telling me that you're going to war, but I'm gonna be giving you all the weapons for you to fight. That's what he was telling me, and I was ready at that time. I was ready. I was ready to take on this fight. So after she told me that, she said the hospital will be calling you to get all the information so we can get you in for surgery tomorrow. So the next day, literally. So, I was so thankful. I thanked her and everything, and I went to sleep, and, finally I was able to take a nap. And the next day, alhamdulillah, we, made our way to the hospital. My husband took me to the hospital, and then they did the surgery. since it was an emergency class that was being placed, that one was extremely painful. So my recovery after that was very, very difficult. Like I had like 2 weeks, I was in pain. I could not walk. It was just very painful. After the surgery, I spoke to the doctor and he told me, he said, I made it as tight as I possibly can. So he had to like close my cervix, like shut it, like make it like a very, very tight knot so that it would not open. And he told me, everything should be fine. I was able to push. So he had to push my amniotic sac back in where the baby is in my uterus, and then shut my cervix, close it so that nothing would happen. And after that, he told me that I would need to be on progesterone. So progesterone is what maintains like progesterone helps in maintaining pregnancies, and it also, it can help calm your uterus down. So when you so I was prescribed it to insert it. So I had to insert it in, put it in every night. It's a gel, so I had to like measure it and then put it in and then insert it. And it helped in keeping my uterus calm, which means I wouldn't go into labor, or I wouldn't start contracting out of nowhere, or it was just keep everything calm. So that was the plan. At first, I wasn't on bed rest. They did not put me on bed rest. Me and my husband put me on bed rest. So I was doing it, and I went back to work. So when I went back to work, I was working and everything. So at that time, I was supposed to see two doctors. So one week I would see my OBGYN, and the next week I would see my MFM, which stands for maternal fetal medicine. So it was like, 1 week here, 1 week there. Then it was 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. So it's like, I was alternating like that and going to one, then going to the other. So they were both monitoring me. And yeah, so we continued that. And finally, at some point, I couldn't work anymore because my job is extremely stressful, and the stress was causing me to have contractions, and it was just too much on me. So I requested from my doctor to put me officially off out of work, which happened, which I'm very thankful for. So I was put out of work, and yeah, so then I could rest and just take it easy. So I've been in bed on bed rest for since 16 weeks. So from 16 weeks all the way till 35 weeks. So for like almost 4 months, I was on bed rest, literally. I wasn't doing anything. I couldn't go anywhere. I was locked inside, just literally like a prisoner. I was inside. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't be on my feet too much. And again, my husband, he just showed up and showed out. He was the one making meals for me, taking care of everything around the kids, me, just all of us. He's been doing everything. And I can't begin to express how I feel about that, to be honest. I don't know how I can repay him. I know it's, like I said, I know it's both our child. We both have to do what we're supposed to do, and he was doing his part, but he didn't have to. We all know that there are some men out there that can just like be like, hey, I don't understand this. I don't know what's going on. I don't have to do it. But he took his responsibility and knew that he had to do it. He had to step in for his family, and that's exactly what he did. And for that, I am so thankful and so proud of him for everything he has done. And I can't thank him enough. I can't, because I was very difficult. I'm a difficult person, I know it. But he's patient. Like we tease each other. We say that he's the water to my fire, and that's literally how things work. But I've tried to be more patient with him and more lenient when it came to a lot of things. And it worked. We worked as a team, and we made things work. Now, fast forward, when I reached 26 weeks of pregnancy, I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. So I was like, okay, God, something else. Just let's just keep adding things. So At that point, I was diagnosed. So the gestational diabetes is pretty much it's like your placenta. So it's nothing you're doing wrong. There's like a big misconception out there that, oh, you have if you don't do this, that's when you get it. No, anybody can get it. And what it is, it's not like real diabetes, because it's just like your placenta that's not functioning the way it's supposed to function, right? So that causes you to have this condition. So with that, they put you on a diet. So you have to be on a diet, and then you have to prick yourself 6 to 4 times a day to check your blood sugar. So after you eat, you gotta check, make sure your blood sugar levels are good, and then you gotta eat properly. So it was hard, but I was thankful, because that kind of like pushed me to to eat better, to do better for myself, and do better for the baby as well. So I was thankful. So I was like, there's always a blessing behind anything that happens to us. Always. God never just throws anything at us for no reason. There is always something behind it, because I feel like if I didn't have that, I'll just be eating any and everything. But because of that, I am more disciplined, right? So this is my little kit that I have. So in here I have like my little monitor. Like this is the monitor right here. I have the test strips, and then this is what I use to prick myself. So a needle, this needle here goes in here, and then that's what I use. So I use it 4 times a day. Check my blood sugar 4 times a day after each meal. So when I first wake up in the morning, I check my fasting numbers. After I eat breakfast, 2 hours after I eat breakfast, I check again. 2 hours after I eat lunch, I check again. And 2 hours after dinner, I check again to make sure that everything is functioning well. And yeah, so that's pretty much sums up what happens. Now, in my first trimester, I was very, very sick. I was nauseous. I could not eat. All food was repulsive. I had food aversion. It was just terrible. Like, this pregnancy has been like I think the toughest of all my pregnancies, to be honest. Like, it's been very, like they say, pregnancies are all different. Babies are all different. They do different things, and literally I've felt it. So I thought, with my other pregnancies, especially with Z, when I was pregnant with Z, after the first trimester, I started feeling good. Second trimester, I had all the energy. I could do a lot and everything. But with this one, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, it's been a struggle. So the first one, I was throwing up. I could not eat. I had lost weight. And second trimester, same thing carried over. I didn't have no energy. I was just always tired. And then on top of that, I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. So because I had to be on the diet, in all, I've lost about 20 pounds. Like, I've lost a lot of weight during the whole pregnancy, which I'm not complaining, because I feel like I was overweight anyway. So it's good that that I was able to, like, to be on the diet and eat better and do better for myself, because I was on bed rest. I couldn't move. I couldn't do any physical activities. So again, that's the blessing in disguise, right? So yeah, so I lost all this weight, and I'm now in my third trimester. I'm literally, at this point, I'm waiting for baby. So after all that happened, at 36 weeks, they took out my cerclage. So I had to go back in to see the specialist for him to cut it and remove it. So we did that. I have a photo. I can insert it somewhere and show you what it looks like. It was 2 cerclages. Show you what they look like, and then yeah, so he removed them. I thought when he was gonna remove it, I was gonna go into labor right away, but that didn't happen. So that it's been a week, and baby is still cooking, he's still baking. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I can't thank God enough for bringing me all the way here, because to me, I understand that, and I know that the doctors do a lot. They do everything they can. The specialists, they know what they're doing. They're so good at what they do. But to me, I feel like without God, even they wouldn't be able to do what they do. So to me, I am first thankful to God, to the God that I pray. I'm thankful for him and grateful to him. And I'm happy and thankful that he put those doctors, this medical team, on my path to help me carry to term. because this is my first time carrying a pregnancy to term. With my first, I didn't even get to the third trimester. With my second, my water broke too early. My water broke 6 weeks early. And with this one, alhamdulillah, I am now 9 months pregnant. My second, she came at 8 months, so she had to be in the hospital for 2 weeks, which was very hard at the time. But it was better. It was way better than what happened with the first. And this is my third, and inshallah, we won't even need for the baby to be home, to be in the hospital. So this is a new experience for me. It's very, very new. Now we're just sitting here waiting for labor to start. It seems like we're gonna get out of the hospital with a baby, which I never did. This is my third child, and I never got out of the hospital with a baby in my hands. So this is gonna be new. It's gonna be different. Coming home with a baby, trying to heal while taking care of a baby, trying to settle. It's definitely gonna be an adjustment, which I'm so happy for. I'm excited about. I'm pumped about it, right? We're in good spirit. Me and my husband, we're in a good, we have a good partnership and, teamwork going on, so we're going to hold things down and do what we're supposed to do, like we've always done, inshallah. So, yeah. So that's the update. That's what's been happening. That's what my life has been. I haven't been posting as much, and I'm sorry for that, but I had to me, when things happen to me, that's just my coping mechanism. I just shut down. I just kind of like recluse myself. I just go in my little bubble and I stay in there until things start looking out again. So that's what I did, and I'm sorry for being MIA all this while, but there's a good reason for it. Here it is, and yeah, so that's what happened. So I had to go and kind of recenter myself and focus on my family, and really just focus on God and my connection with Him, and really pray, because, like, again, I'm a firm believer that when God strike us with a test, it's only because He wants us to get even closer to Him, right? I was already close to Him, and I intend on being even closer to Him, but I felt like this brought me even closer, and I'm very thankful for that. If that's the goal behind it, I'm all for it, and I will always surrender and answer present to that. So that's what I've been doing. That's what's been happening. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed me telling you about my journey so far. Now we're just, maybe by the time this video comes out, baby will be here, and inshallah, I'll be able to introduce baby to all of you, and do a formal introduction with the family and everything. And yeah, so I have this video. I also have a gender reveal video that I will be putting out, and then I have a nursery tour and some other little videos that I plan on putting out as well. And I want to start vlogging. So inshallah, when baby's here and we have our chaos going on, I would like to vlog and show you a little bit of what I do in a day and things like that. So I hope you'll enjoy that. And if you have any suggestion, any suggestion of new videos that you would like to see, please feel free to let me know, and I'll be happy to to film those as much as possible, if it's possible, of course. So yeah, so that's about it. And thank you for sticking around with me and listening to my whole story. If you have any questions, if you want me to make any videos about this condition and talk more about it, I'll be happy to, because my goal is really to kind of like bring awareness to this condition that a lot of people don't know about. And if I can help in any way, I'll be happy to. This is my third rodeo, and hopefully I can help as much as possible. So yeah, so thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. I love all of you. Thank you for the support, and I will see you very soon. Hopefully baby will be here, inshallah. Thank you. Bye, guys.